What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with a brand new episode for Might and Magic Elemental Guardians. Today, we're going to continue off of our last free-to-play video talking about some of the free-to-play 2-star monsters that are going to help you out in your team composition. Now, one of the things that you guys are considering when you're building it, we've talked about support units, we've talked about damage mitigation. The next thing that we're going to be taking a look at is the attackers. So, out of all the attackers that are available today, for newer players, what's going to be one of the better ones to use coming out of the gate? Which one is going to provide you the most value as you progress into the dungeons? And without question, from the community, they have stated that the poison-based units are going to be the ones to look for. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to my man Legend. Now, if you guys are not familiar with him, he's another veteran player in this game that has been making videos for quite some time for the past 2 months. He's provided a ton of great content, and he is one of the many that have really provided me some great knowledge when it comes to poisoners and how to go about implementing them in your team. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2-star free-to-play poisoners out there and try to see which one is going to provide the most value for you. But before we get into that, let's just talk about the basis of poison and why it is so good. Of course, as you guys know, when it comes to creating, certain units that are attacked, there's a lot of things to consider when building that, right? You're going to be looking at attack, you're going to be looking at critical rate, critical damage, and of course, considering how this game is built, these units are hitting pretty hard, so you definitely need to consider that value of HP or defense or even speed if you're looking to get more turns. So, considering what poison damagers do, right? These units do 10%. Poison-based skills do 10% of the enemy's max HP, and then versus the bosses, they're going to be doing 5% of the enemy's max HP. So when you take that into consideration, that allows you to do significant damage while not really factoring or not really focusing on the attack, the critical rate, and critical damage. That's going to allow you to put a little bit more tankiness, a little bit more survivability for your unit while focusing on speed, defense, HP, and most notably accuracy. As you guys know, these units are debuffers, so we're going to be looking at providing a decent amount of accuracy in order to make sure that we're landing our skills effectively, okay? That's the beauty of this skill. It literally ignores the defense. It just does a percentage of the unit's HP regardless of how much HP that unit has. It's just going to do a fixed damage here. So again, let's take a step back and let's look at some things to consider when choosing the ones we want. If we are looking to build a team and try to get the most value out of it, we need to take a look at the skill set in hand. Is the unit going to provide single target versus AoE poison? And obviously, we're going to be leaning towards AoE. That's just going to kind of help us clear out the waves, working up to the boss. And of course, as we're going up to the boss and he has his different adds, having those AoE stacks on the unit is going to be very beneficial to take those out because, again, the boss is the one that has the 5% reduction. So it's 5% of enemy special HP, but the adds on there are still going to be 10%. So those can go down relatively quickly, okay? The next thing to consider is the duration of the skill that are going to be coming on these units. Is it just dropping a poison-based damage for 1 turn? Is it 2 turns or is it 3? That may play a role in who you pick because obviously the more stacks or the more duration that you can provide on one unit is going to be the better. That means more AoE, more damage for you over time, which is obviously going to be beneficial considering that you have to really micromanage your team coming out of the gate here. The next one is the skills when it comes to the overall cooldowns. Sure, this unit may have like a AoE poison-based damage for 1 turn, but is the skill on a 4-turn cooldown? Is the skill on a 6-turn cooldown? That's the thing to consider because when you're getting started out, these skills, these abilities might be casted quickly, but of course, if you don't have a lot of speed on your units, it's going to take a little bit of time to come back and cycle through your regular skills in order to get to it, right? So definitely consider that when you're looking at that. And of course, let's not forget the value of what that unit has on top of his regular abilities, right? Yes, we're looking at poisons, but what else does he provide that can assist you on your party? As you guys know, we talked about in previous videos, we're looking at regular support units, we're looking at a heal, we're looking at damage mitigation, we're looking at attack breaks, speed breaks. We're looking at a lot of single things. So if we have 2 units that we're like, ooh, these are great units, they're AoE poisoners, but this one provides a little bit more utility to help out in a certain dungeon, should we go for that? And that's where I feel like that's going to make the, all these factors are going to come into play in order to make that decision, okay? So let's go ahead and jump into some of the units that I want to take a look at. We'll talk about, and there's not going to be any like a range of like, which one is better or not. I just want to take a look at 4 of them at just just at hand here, and we'll see which one, you know, could provide you guys the most value, or which one you guys have in order to provide to your team. This was actually the first poisoner that I got, the water ghost here. Now, I actually did not build it because at that time I did not realize the true potential of this one, so I ended up pulling a unit that we're going to talk about here shortly that is in that 2-star category that provided a little bit more value for me, in my humble opinion. But either way, this one's still a really good unit to take a look at. So again, as you guys know, the units come with a regular skill. So this one here, we got a beneficial, looks like it does decent damage and steals a beneficial effect. So this is obviously going to play a nice role if you move into the Wrath Dungeon. There's a couple of units that provide or put beneficial effects on the boss, or the boss has a skill that provides a beneficial effect with a certain you know, condition. So being able to take that ability off is really nice. But as you guys know, we're looking at the poison. This is the one that I'm really liking. Again, I think this is pretty decent. The chancing of landing is good, but even more importantly, this unit has an opportunity to decrease the resistance. So that's going to make things even easier for your team in order to land all the other harmful effects that you're bringing in addition to that poison effect. So even though it is only for one turn, take into consideration of the current state of like how many cooldowns it is. 4-turn cooldown versus some of the units that we're going to take a look at that have a 6-turn cooldown. So again, this unit is not too bad at all. I'm really a big fan of it. Okay, now let's go ahead and go into the air category. I want to showcase the one that I have, and this is probably one of the ones that have gotten a lot of popularity if you've been hearing in the community, the Black Fangro, aka the Air Assassin. Okay, so this one here for the 3rd skill provides an AoE attack based on your speed to poison them for 2 turns. Now this one is reusable in 6 turns, but this can get reduced, you know, once you get it all skilled up. That being said, the cool thing about this skill is the damage is actually based on the speed. So naturally, as a saboteur, you know, your goal is to consider not just the accuracy, but again, the speed, the HP to defense. So again, higher speed means more turns, and more turns means more opportunities to land these skills. Okay. Now, the reason why I feel like this is like one of the top ones when it comes to, you know, free-to-play units out there is that the kit overall is just simply amazing. Now, this 2nd skill decreases the speed for 2 turns and improves your own speed for 2 turns. Literally, it almost like absorbs their speed and takes it onto your own. But even though that is extremely strong, it is at a 3-turn cooldown. So again, you're going to be able to use this quite a bit. And like we said before, this 3rd skill is actually doing damage based on speed. So you get a little bit more bonus out of the skill, even though we're not like thinking about the actual damage that she could do just, you know, coming out of that skill. We're looking at the poison, but again, anything that can help is going to be really good, considering you're not building this as like a full-blown attack, you know, crit damage attack kind of a monster, right? Okay, and then last but not least, even though you can't see it right here, when this unit is evolved to the max, you're going to have the opportunity to, at random, right, be able to choose one of the evolves, right? And one of the ones that rolls out to is a 50% chance to poison the unit for 2 turns. So when you think about this one, like we said before, all the things to consider, it's an AoE poisoner. It has a speed debuff. And then it has a speed buff, allowing it to go through its skills a little bit more. And then it also has that single target ability in order to provide you some more poison stacks, which obviously make this really good. That's why this is like one of my top units out there that I would definitely recommend if you have it. Now, again, if you don't get the you know, evolution, you know, I wouldn't be too concerned. The community, the developers or whatnot, they've been talking about, the community's been talking about possibly an event that's going to go down the road where we can potentially have a reroll on the evolution. Okay, that's not something that is secret. That's something that's been mentioned quite a bit in the community. So even if you're not too fortunate, everything that this unit provides is still really, really good. Okay, so I still recommend using her. Now, we're going to be moving on to the Earth category. It's funny that we pulled up the Earth one here, because she actually does have a poison-based ability here, and she has an opportunity to get the additional turn. Now, the thing why I'm taking a look at the AoE poisoners versus the single target ones is because, you know, again, I'm looking at the overall damage that it can provide, so I'm trying to recommend to you guys some units that can not only provide the harmful effects that you're looking for on the boss, but more importantly, that extra damage so you can get through the waves, you know, in a relatively quick fashion. Now, again, let me go ahead and take a step back because I'm all over the place. Let's not forget the fact that we are focused on survivability. and consistency versus speed. So again, these teams are going to be a little bit on the slower end. It's not going to be super quick, but again, as long as we get those runs consistently and we start to get those glyphs that we're looking for, and we start getting better units to swap into it, that's going to of course improve the overall speed at the end of the day. So don't be too disconcerted if you did not get the perfect unit out there. Again, we're just starting from scratch. We're looking at what units that can provide some of you newer plays out there, some of the beginners, some of the free-to-play players out there that haven't been too fortunate when it comes to summons. Okay, on the Earth one, I want to go ahead and take a look at if I can find it here. I think it's the Earth Gargoyle. Now that's the Minotaur. Let's go ahead and get back into it. I actually feel like I did pull the Earth Gargoyle, right? Oh, nope. Yeah, is this the one? I think it's the one. Okay, so this one here has this has an AoE stun, and then this one here is the AoE poisoning effect. So in addition to the poisoning effect, it does have an AoE attack break. So this is great. If you don't have the Water Arcane Bird or you haven't pulled it yet, you not only do you got the AoE poison, but you got an AoE attack for 1 turn. And if I recall correctly, once this is skilled up, I believe the attack break can actually be increased to 2 turns, giving it even more value if you do happen to take it on. So that's another great unit to do. But out of all the units out there, I'd say the one with the most hype is going to be the Earth Basilisk here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. This one here provides the second skill is going to provide a, like I said, it hits the enemy and it takes a turn, turning up the stone. So it's going to be a stun and also decreases the resistance for 1 turn. Again, 3-turn cooldown. We have an ability that's decreasing the resistance and being able to stun them. So that's going to be very, very nice. And then over here, attacks all enemies and poisons them for 2 turns. Now take note that there is no activation rate on this skill. This is literally a 100% activation, so really all you got to consider is that value of accuracy and making sure you have a decent amount of accuracy on your units here. So this is really, really nice. I'm really a big fan of it, and if I recall correctly, this skill, the petrification, this can turn into a 2-turn single target skill and can also be reduced to a 2-turn cooldown. So this is almost this is just an amazing unit when it comes to the boss. You're clearing the waves, you're providing the poison effects, and then you can use this unit to basically lock down one of the adds, keep them locked down until you can take them out by means of poison, whatever other kind of direct damage you have. I mean, this is very, very valuable. And then of course, even though you can't see it, this unit is going to provide a single target poison for you if you get the right evolve. So this is by far one of the best, if not the best, poison-based 2-star unit out there in the game today. Okay, so that's pretty much going to be it, guys. I'll do a quick look so you guys can see the poisoner that I am using, the ones that I've been using. My biggest one is going to be the Air Assassin, right? The Lightning Assassin. Again, she is not maxed out. I'm just working on her as far as her, trying to get her glyphs a little bit improved. I was fortunate enough to get the poison ability, so I got this one evolved here. That one I believe I needed when I got the when I maxed the second stage evolution maxed out. And in addition to that, I also got a 25% accuracy bonus on this one. That's why I like this one quite a bit, because everything about it when it comes to evolution and the bonuses that it obtains, it's really, really nice. As far as the poisoners go, if I didn't mention it already, again, we've talked about it beforehand: speed, defense, HP, accuracy. Those are going to be the biggest things to focus on. Should you go accuracy on the bottom 2 teardrops up, or should you go with a different type of glyph like a precision or whatnot? Obviously, if you have the opportunity to get the precision, definitely do so, because I do believe that poison based the accuracy bonus that you obtain there is going to be a little bit more value than going straight accuracy here. A lot of things to consider, generally speaking, when it comes to your poisoners. You're going to be looking at the haste set, you're going to be looking at the precision set. That being said, do what you can do for right now. If you still have the vitality, go for the vitality sets. Take advantage of the HP bonus, and then if you are sitting there relatively tanky, then maybe consider going with the accuracy on the teardrop if you really, really, really need it. But again, I think you're going to be good on that front. These units overall have just a decent amount of base stats, and then like I said before, if you take a look at their evolution bonuses, you might even see one of them more often than not giving the actual accuracy that you're looking for. Okay, so that's going to be it, guys. I hope this was a little bit informational. My apologies, because I was all over the place talking about stuff. That's what happens when you get into a game that you're really excited about. You can't stop talking about it. You want to make sure you cover this, and then you want to get to that, and then you want to look up here, and then you want to remember that poison-based AoE damage that you're trying to, again, I'm talking too much. I'm going to shut up. You guys have a great day. Take care.